Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather, and together we are working to connect women in leadership and business, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, mind, and soul. Today is the start of our amazing book week specials we have.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
So we've got a double dose of fun for you today, because not only do we have an incredible author here with us as our guest, and I'll introduce her in just a second, but it is also Mindset Monday. So there's lots of fun, exciting things coming up today.
So before you introduce our guest, I'm just gonna say that stay tuned, because you don't want to miss out on the mindset topics and what our guests might want to say about them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am really honored to be introducing our guest today. When donkeys and chickens rub elbows with shapeshifters and other mythical creatures, you are on an adventure with Aru. This story both pays homage to traditional tropes and turns them upside down. Built on strong female characters and written with gender sensitivity, the story has a familiar feel, and as it takes the reader places they've never been. You can find her in our local Snow Isle library system. Welcome back to the table, the incredibly talented Harriet Arden Byrd. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Well, thank you, Heather and Charlie, for having me back again. I really enjoyed. I probably will just talk away because I really be on here.
Well,
I'm
let's
a
jump
storyteller.
right into our book week questions. So we're going to ask these same questions of all of our authors. So we'll just
Jump right in.
Jump right in.
So the first question is, what inspired you to share this story of Aru's realm?
Well, I've always had a story in me, wanting out fantasy stories ever since I was really small. And so the book itself is my self-expression, it's very much me, which makes it a little difficult to put out there into the world, really, because it's so much my personal little views on life and things that have happened to me in my life, but sort of strangely autobiographically inserted into the fantasy story, which I think a lot of fantasy work probably is. I mean, but so it's very much me. But I think what I really want people to take away from this story is the fact that we're unique people, and our uniqueness should be cultivated to share with others instead of just trying to be like everyone else. That's kind of been my thing in life, is I resist the whole, you go through school and everybody's trying to be like everybody else because it's safer, and I really, I never really could do that, and never really wanted to do that. And I know there's a lot of people like me that way, but I would love it if our society was more about each bringing our own gifts to help others in society. So yeah,
Which is what life should be like,
Right.
That's what life should be like. Which our second question was, what do you want the reader to take away? And you just answered that one for us. It was perfect. And then our next question is, what was your writing experience like? Now, I know that you just didn't sit down one day and write the whole book. I know that the writing experience for you was part of the journey. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it took 4 years to write the story. 4 years of writing every day for hours. And I actually organized my life around it. I took jobs like elder care where I could work on my book at work, and it was okay to do that. And so I really gave that book everything for 4 years. And the reason it took so much time, it's a fairly long book. It's, almost, it's like 500 pages long,
Mhm.
but the reason it took so much time is because of the detail. It's, it's about color, and it was a lot of work to do this, to write this, but I enjoyed it so much. Um, it was like a sculptor, chipping away, and the story was underneath. It was already there, and it was so much fun bringing that out of myself. I really, really had a fun time writing it. So I hope that people have a fun time reading it as well. So yeah, that's pretty much.
I can say
I
that I
really
am having a fun time reading it. I think it is really just an awesome story.
thank you. Well, I hope that people, after they've read it, later on, will smile when they think of it, when they think of the characters in the book. I've had people tell me that the characters stay with them, and that really makes me happy to hear that. I just um, I I think that people, when they read a book, well, I've learned from writing this book that um, everybody is actually reading a different book when they read a book, because we bring so much of ourselves to the book, and we take away different things. And even if you've read the same book at different stages of your life, you've probably experienced that, where you get different things out of it. And so but I think from this book, there are some things that I hope people will take away from it, which is the it's written in a feminist viewpoint. And by that I mean that not just females, but genders are all equal. And it's just an assumption in the book. There's powerful women throughout the book. There's powerful female characters. There's a genderless character. There's gay people, but it's not, their gayness is not who they are in the story. It's not about their gayness. They just happen to be gay. There's that. I'm just trying to normalize writing about different sorts of people, different colors of people, different genders. So that's one thing I just want to contribute to that, to that a lot of people are, trying to steer in that direction. And at some point, I think all writing will be that way, hopefully. So I also, I really want to encourage people to use their own creativity, to be inspired. I went with my whims in writing this book, and I would like to influence other people to do that.
Right.
So
Right, absolutely. Now,
I
I have kind of an idea from reading Aru's Realm on what the answer to this next question would be, but it might be completely different. Like, I don't have it pinpointed to an exact thing, but as a writer, what would you choose as your mascot, avatar, or spirit animal?
that question's an interesting one for me, because of my own studies of indigenous culture and around the world, and people who, well, everybody, if you go back far enough in your family, you're going to find people who had connections with spirit guides, spirit animals. Um, but in the last 1,000 years, maybe, it's been more the indigenous people of Australia and the Americas that are known for having spirit animals, especially the certain areas. Like, not all Native Americans did this, but in the Northwest Coast, it was a very powerful part of the culture. There was the individual spirit animals, and there were the group, the totems, basically, you could
Yeah.
say. The clans had each had a different spirit animal, you could say.
Mhm.
So I think that while it's very valid to 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 talk about spirit animals, that we have to remember that in these cultures, they didn't choose the spirit animals. Uh, you could say that in a way, the spirit animals chose
Chose them.
them, or they were
Mhm.
born into them, depending on. So, and also they didn't speak about them. They don't
Mhm.
speak about them.
Oh.
So for me, it's kind of a in modern times, especially in pagan traditions that are being revitalized in modern times, we have gone back to the spirit animal, and I think it's great. I think it's very healthy. I think using ancient shamanic tradition, which is basically what that is, it brings us back to the earth and to be connected to the earth, and that's very important.
Mhm.
Helps us. More people are going to be stewards of the earth if they're deeply connected to it. So it's a very,
Yeah.
very positive thing.
Mhm.
But personally, yeah, I would be more comfortable talking about the avatar,
Mhm.
which is a different thing. And I guess, well, I don't really have a choice because I put the hair on the front of this realm. And so everybody sees that as my avatar.
This little guy right
um,
here.
I mean, people are always giving me bunnies, and it's become, I guess, my avatar. At least for that book. Probably wouldn't work so well with my dog book that I'm writing, but so yeah, I would say the hair. That the character Aldre, he doesn't even show up until like the third chapter, and they're pretty long chapters, but he's an integral part of the story because he exists in different realities. He's actually going to make an appearance in one of my dog stories.
Oh,
So
fun. That will be
that's why
fun.
he's on the that's why he's on the cover, because he's pointing to the inside of the book, and he's helping you enter that reality.
That
See, his ears
that
are
world.
covering up
Yeah.
the
The
M. So he's all about like helping you have different perspectives on reality. So
Uh-oh.
he's pretty much, I guess, the avatar.
I
Kind of a
love
That's
lot.
that.
fabulous.
That is
Thank
so
you
cool.
for educating us and sharing that with us so much. Um, have you ever Googled yourself?
I do Google myself now and then. If I Google Catherine Wesley, it used to be that a lot of things came up because Google will send you your own information most easily. But nowadays, if I Google Catherine Wesley, it's just really boring, and it's a very common name. So, because that's my actual name, Catherine Wesley, and yeah, so it's kind of boring to do that. But if I Google Harriet Arden Byrd or H.A. Byrd, I do get a lot of things. Your podcast comes up, which is really fun
Oh,
Yeah.
to
that's
see.
fun.
Mm, mm,
Aw.
mm. But yeah, it's a much more, because I've done I get a lot of profile pictures of myself from different different things I've created on the web. But yeah, your podcast, but one of the more interesting things that probably comes up there. So yeah.
That's fun.
How cool.
That is so cool. Oh.
Our last book week question is, what are you reading right now?
Well, that's a good question. I love these questions, you guys. These are great. And that one, I have a book that's about this thick on my nightstand. It's a book of Icelandic sagas, which I picked
Ooh.
up at the little free library, and I'm
Mhm.
really excited about reading it. But I haven't even started it yet because I'm so I have a limited amount of energy right now,
Mhm.
and I'm doing so many things with my even finding time to write is difficult. So I haven't read much.
So we're making
I
space
tend
to
to
do some reading, right?
yeah
Making space to do
yeah
some
I
reading,
do.
making space for some more writing and things like that, because these are the things that inspire you and are part of who you are.
it's a good point. I need to do both those things, so I do need to make time for them, which I could do if I was just a little more disciplined. I also need to discipline myself about not trying to do too much.
Right.
So having a time like that, yeah, I've got to remember, that's a very good point, that if I just budget my time a little bit better, I'd probably be a happier person.
When we
So,
all, yeah, we
Yeah.
all work
yeah.
on that, definitely.
Which
Is
is
perfect segue yet
Perfect
again.
segue. Okay, so this week's Mindset Monday topic is Spadbaya, and I think I'm saying that right.
Spadbaya.
Spadbaya.
Okay.
It's Svadyhyaya. Spadbaya. Study by and of oneself.
Perfect for talking with authors, right?
Sometimes you study the way by casting off the mind. Sometimes you study the way by taking up the mind. Either way, study the way of thinking and study the way of not thinking. Ehai Dogen, I think.
Study the way of thinking and study the way of not thinking.
Right. We don't always have to be thinking. Well, our minds are always working, but we don't always have to be actively thinking about something. And it's in that quiet, where you find peace.
Right. Wow.
Mhm.
For sure.
In addition to that, we're also talking about practicing distressing rituals. How the quote here is, we are what we repeatedly do. Aristotle.
We are what we repeatedly do.
So if we repeatedly allow ourselves to be in that stressful, overwhelmed state, we are stressed and overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Okay. All right. So
Well,
that being said,
well,
go ahead.
I don't know if it's okay to
Yeah.
mention it, but
Okay.
one of your guests that you had on here, Lynette, the one that has Beautiful Skin by Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you're saying really strikes me, because in my most recent visit to her, I go to her once a month for facials, and she does shoulder massage and massages my arms, and I just get so incredibly deeply relaxed. It's such a wonderful experience, and I feel that it's really, really important for my health to go and do that once a month, because it puts me in that position of my mind is open and relaxed, and usually I'm able to just focus on what's happening and just purely enjoy the experience.
Mm-hmm.
But last time my mind was so busy that I just kept my busy mind going during this deeply relaxed state, and it was actually pretty great. I had some realizations and about myself, I mean, because you get to that place where you're open,
Mm.
It's
so.
I like thinking of it as being quiet enough to listen to yourself.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
But if we don't practice, I think that's the key with it, is if we don't practice doing things. When I was really, really sick with my abdominal hernias, I would have to rest every day. I had to put it in my schedule. I had to put in, and it would be, some days it would be 10 a.m. Sometimes it was noon. But if by noon I hadn't rested, I would have to go lay down for an hour or two at the time. It's hard to say that now, like so much time, like of just resting. But what happened is that by doing that every day, I gave my body the knowledge that it was going to rest. And so then I had a really busy day, and I was like, I really need to rest. And I was somewhere, I wasn't home, and I was really kind of upset that I couldn't rest. And then I found a couch, right? Like it was like we were I was working in insurance at the time, so we were at a school, and the staff lounge, there was a couch in there, and I literally laid down for 5 minutes and rested, and I felt rejuvenated because I had taught my body that this is what resting feels like. Right, like to really just experience that, like teaching myself that was really profound, like to teach
And instead of
yourself
it
these
taking 2
things.
hours, it only took 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was shocked that
Mhm.
5 minutes rejuvenated me so much. Like,
Yeah,
so
that's
so it's important that we teach ourselves, which is what the point of the mindset around practicing it is that you want to practice it so that you can do it when you're stressed out, right? Like, so if you practice and you kind of figure out what works for you, what kind of things you like, so you have to design your ritual. You need to make it something easy you can do, and rewarding, like, it shouldn't be a chore to do this ritual, right? So this could be lighting a tea candle, having a warm cup of tea.
I have a Sunday night bath every week.
Right, like it's a thing you do every right, like and if you can put in a couple of senses in there, you get a candle, you can get some smells, you got you're creating more senses for yourself, and the more senses, that's the bigger imprint on you, like we've talked about, like how that affects you.
it's funny because that's exactly what you do when you're training a dog,
Right.
you rewards. And so yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to look at it that way, because you can think about what rewards that you really want and give yourself those.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important that we do give ourselves rewards, because if we're waiting for somebody else to give us a reward or tell us we're doing a good job, or whatever your love language reciprocation is, chances are it's not going to happen. You have to
You need to be
reward
your
yourself.
own best friend.
Be your own best friend.
So some ideas around rituals that can help you would be journaling. It could be a stretching, it could be meditation, it could be listening to music, it could be some form of exercise, it could be getting organized. These are things that are de-stressing things that you could make a ritual around.
Right. And getting things organized is part of my love language. So I've,
it absolutely is.
Yeah. If things are disorganized, I can't function. It's like I can't. But knowing that about myself, and knowing that I feel so much better when my space is organized, and it helps my mind be organized, I just feel so much better. And I've learned that about myself by paying attention to my own feelings and studying myself in that way. So
absolutely. And don't think I'm saying like do all these things and you'll feel less stress. Yeah, you got to journal and you got to do all these things and you got to get in. No, that's not what I'm saying. I say pick one thing. Pick one thing.
Charlie,
I'm sorry.
I'm myself, Charlie, because I have a husband and 3 sons. And I learned pretty early on that I really need a nice little space that's clean and tidy and pretty. And I do need that. And so, but for me right now, I'm finding that to work towards organizing, if I just take like one little thing, like I've told myself, spend 3 to 5 minutes figuring out what I'm going to clean up in my room or fix or bring downstairs, or and just like your 5 minutes on the couch, I think it does make a big difference for a different reason, but it makes a big difference to take away a little bit, and you just feel better about yourself.
Moving that energy, right? Like when you organize things and you have things where they should be, then they're not distracting you when you're trying to be creative in this space, especially being a creative mind. We're so easily distracted. I mean, the moth is sticker still on the door. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I think it's a sticker.
It must not be a moth, because I didn't.
Is it a moth? Like, oh my gosh, it's still there. Like, these things like are hard. Like, distractions, right? Like when you have the ADHD going on, or like the mom brain kicks in. The kids have asked you 5 million questions,
Mhm.
and then you go into your space and everything's busy and crazy, and you're like, how am I supposed to relax? So like, just, that's, it's super important.
And all of these tools, it's about creating habits, creating positive habits for yourself and your self-care
Oh my gosh, every day, right?
every day.
So
That's
I'm sorry. Did you have anything else you would like to say?
Oh no, I just you were reminding me that like you're really right, and creating habits and creating space time wise.
Mhm.
Have those things go together, and it is a little bit of discipline to get it rolling, but it's a good reminder. It's really good advice, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
And it's not just us. All of the books we have been reading to set up these outlines and everything else and bring these tools to you are available on our website at www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com and click grow with us. We have a bunch of other things on our website as well as a community calendar with tons of community events going on. So if you're wondering what to do with your kids over the weekend or your family, or even just to get out of the house for yourself, there's tons of
there's women
on there.
networking, there's business networking, there's like, all sorts of things, virtual, in person. We try to have a good variety of things that we know about. And if you have something you would like to add, just shoot us an email. We'll be happy to add the Facebook invitation right to the calendar.
Yep, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
After a while, crocodile. I don't know. Sorry.
And
I'm sure you guys have missed us live.
Right.
But we promise you there's always good things to come. So be sure to also hit up that website to see what's coming. This week is going to be phenomenal. The women authors that we have in our community are so amazing. All of you just blow me away with your dedication and stepping into what you've been asked to do.
Do you have a minute to just mention what authors you'll be featuring? I'm really interested.
Oh yeah. So we have Rayanne Hall. We have
Lisa
Hannigan. And we have Leslie Rochelle
Rochelle
on with us this week, featuring their books that they've written. And all of them have very different books and perspectives and are just wonderful, amazing, warm-hearted, giving humans just like you. And we appreciate you guys all so very much.
And I know that we have a few more authors hiding in our group. That didn't mean we meant to leave you out or anything. It just, 1 week is 1 week.
Right. 1 week is 1 week.
1 week is 1 week. So be sure to stay tuned for those. And I want to give a quick shout out. This is the last week. We kind of got a couple bonus weeks here for the Boogie Bin, which is an organization that collects gently used or new animal
pet products
that go to rescue animals and different organizations around our local area and
beyond.
So if you don't know about that, you better hit the website up and find out about it
at the Boogie Bin. So
or ours.
Yeah, it's on there. It's on ours too. Their links are on theirs.
Yeah, we'll give you all their links, and they're all in our descriptions.
Yeah, super
as always. Harriet, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me here. And your website, it's such a great resource for support for people. And well, I know that most people, hopefully the people viewing this have already seen it, but if not, yeah, it's great. You guys are doing a fabulous job.
Oh,
thank you
so much.
I just got squished. And to all of our listeners, we love and appreciate every single one of you as well. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast in your favorite place, so that you get the latest notifications when they go live. So
when they premiere,
that's
the fancy word,
when they
premiere.
So anyway, we love having you all, and we're just so blessed to be in this space to be able to do this. So thank you all so much.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.